Hi, it's Harry for Monday Sportif with episode 4 of our Euros 2024 preview. This episode is featuring Netherlands, who have been quite a formidable force, and we're with Rene. Rene, the last Euros tournament promised a lot, and then De Ligt got sent off, and it kind of went a bit pear-shaped, and all that promise kind of went in thin air.
Well, yeah, I remember that the Euros quite a lot from a few years ago. The rounds before that were pretty easy against Austria and the other teams. But then we got Czech. We were struggling the whole match, and it was a draw. And then in the end, De Ligt made a ridiculous handsball in the penalty area or near it, and he got sent off with a red card. It was so embarrassing for us.
Do you think you can go a bit further this time? Obviously, you've got a really tough group, so getting out of that will be a priority first and foremost. But first thing,
Well, I gotta say, we are still looking for the good team to send to the Euros. And we already have the players and stuff, but Koeman is still trying to figure out to make a good team. Because he's also called up Wijnaldum from Saudi Arabia, and he still has Daily Blind in the team. We don't really see the point of those things. But
so is that so? It sounds like you're still relying on the older guard, the older players. Is that it sounds a bit worrying, but is that Koeman's decision? It seems like there is talent out there. Brian Bobby's obviously on form up front, obviously a different position to the ones you mentioned, but you've got loads of centre backs. Is it just Koeman's bad decision making?
well, I don't think so. Probably you have Wijnaldum, and I don't know why Wijnaldum is there, but Blind is just a reason probably for experience because he has went through a lot of World Cups and Euros, and he's been in a final as well. Uh, did he? I don't know. He's been in the semi-finals at least against Argentina, obviously. And a few years ago in Brazil, we went to the semi-finals as well. We got knocked out there too. He was also there together with Memphis Depay, of course. But he's still doing decent at Atletico Madrid. And Daily Blind is doing good with Girona as well in Spain, obviously, because they're really high in the table. But he's just not a really promising player for us.
And Brian Bobby, do you think it'll be a chance for him to sort of announce himself on the international stage? Obviously, got a great record in the Eredivisie, in not a highly performing, not a well-performing side at the moment. So, do you think he could be a star in this tournament?
I don't feel like Broby is going to start in the tournament because he hasn't been in the recent tournaments and in the team. He hasn't been playing much in the Dutch club, so I don't feel like he is gonna make a big difference because at Ajax, obviously we play in the Eredivisie. It's not the biggest league, let's be honest. And so it's not going to be hard to score goals, of course, in a Dutch division. And he's also been injured recently, so I don't know.
One player that has been injured pretty much all season, who's just coming back, is Jurrien Timber for Arsenal. Any chance he makes the side, or do you think that's a long shot?
Well, you see, it's the same with Frankie de Jong. He's also been out for a very long time, but he's doing well again, and he will probably come back. And Timber, we need to see if he's going to be fit for the team, and he needs to perform. So there's still a few matches left of the season, obviously. So we'll see.
Yeah, and outside of that, Virgil van Dijk, how much of a rock has he been over the last few years for you lot?
Well, obviously in Liverpool, his prime season, he was unstoppable. And then he caught up with the injury as well. I think it was his knee, I'm not sure. And then he was out for a long time. And after that, you didn't hear much about him anymore or anything. But he's still a class defender, of course. But in the Netherlands, we also have different upcoming defenders right now. Like at Feyenoord, we have Geertruida. He's been on fire recently. Very good performance at Feyenoord. Amazing. And then we also have at Bayern Munich, of course, De Ligt. And in Italy, De Vrij and everybody. So there's a lot of competition in the defense. So it's going to be hard to make a spot there.
Do you think, in a way, if you mix Netherlands' defence with England's attacker, you get a dream team? Because we seem to be a bit light on defenders. We still have Maguire, who's injured and has had an all right season, but it's still Maguire. So, yeah, you could kind of mesh those two well.
That's true. Like we also had at the beginning of the season, obviously, we had Tyrone Malacia at Manchester United. He got injured for a very long time, which is unfortunately, but he was a class defender at Feyenoord as well. He could have been promising. So I hope he will get better soon for games in the future, maybe.
And Koeman, I know you said there's a bit of a justifiable thing for the decision making because Blynn's got experience of the tournament, and so's Depay's playing well, and even Wijnaldum, there's a degree of a case for why he should be in there. But is there any sort of still ill will over the fact that he kind of had that Euros, you got knocked out in the round of 16, then he went to Barcelona, and then he came trudging back with his tail between his legs with a bit of a shame in his eye?
True. Yeah, that's also what happened. Like before he went to Barcelona, he was doing incredibly good at the Netherlands. We were beating Germany, France, in the Nation League and all those teams. We made it to the finals against Portugal there. Unfortunately, we lost that one, but we were doing amazing. Then we had a lot of hope in the Euros, and then we got knocked out against Czech Republic. So that was upsetting. Yeah.
And you don't think because he's had that time at Barcelona and it didn't work out, you don't think that he's any less of a manager anymore, or view him in a different light because he kind of turned his back on you?
After the Euros in Barcelona, he is. I mean, after his time at Barcelona, coming back to the Netherlands, he's obviously been a bit less than before. He's still good, but like, it's not really what it used to be before his time at the Netherlands at Barcelona.
And lastly, just to get a feel for your confidence or lack of confidence, or how they may be about this tournament. Obviously, it's a really tough group, but once you get past that, do you think the hard work's kind of done, and you can kind of have a bit of a free hit to cause a bit of an upset along the way?
Well, yeah, I think if we find the right people on the right spot in the team, like we can have a great midfield because we have Reinders at AC Milan. He's been on fire lately as well. And then Frankie de Jong next to him could be a golden midfield. And in the defense with Geertruida and Frimpong, obviously, by Leverkusen, he's been amazing too. Leverkusen, he's scoring goals. They're still unbeaten, so obviously they have a good defense. It's promising if you have the right players in the right spot, because in the strikers as well, if it's going bad in the first half, we can always bring in what Weghorst either.
Super out Weghorst. It didn't quite work out for him at Man United, but he did have a great World Cup, didn't he?
He's been making very, very important goals for the Netherlands, even in the Nation League games and in the practicing games. He's been scoring a lot of goals, important as well. Also against Argentina, of course, like it was soaked on. And with a 10 minutes extra time or something, we had 19, I don't remember. You scored 2 goals against Argentina. That was just a beautiful moment to witness, of course.
Yeah, and we had this conversation on our episode last time out about how some players, just for their national team, it just sort of it clicks and it just works. And I think maybe Wout Weghorst as a impact sub for the Netherlands, maybe it could be a bit like when what was his name? Was it Eder for Portugal when he scored in the Euros in the final, and it's like an obscure player, and then he suddenly suddenly has his moment in the sun in the final against France, I think it was, in the Euros a few years back.
Oh yeah, that's a long time ago. I was still a kid. I remember. Yeah, that was a great final indeed.
But anyway, thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure to have you on, and it was great to hear your insights and also speak to a fellow United fan as well.
Yeah, no problem.